Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we are going deep into the archives to find a roll that I did with my buddy Austin when I was out in California at my old gym. Oh, I think this was like a year and a half ago. I just was kind of going through my old footage and I found this and I realized I didn't have too many uploads with me at Brown Belt 3 Stripe. So I decided to upload this one because Austin and I always have a good scrap. And yeah, we'll talk about some of the mistakes I made and some of the things he capitalized on. And I apologize because it's not going to be the full 6-minute video. For the life of me, I cannot find the other minute and a half of this video. So we're just going to talk until the time runs out. So with all that out of the way, let's get into this video. So immediately here, we're going to start grip fighting, just trying to figure out what we're going to play, just grab our grips and see what each other is going to give us. So right away, I make a mistake here. Let's go back slightly right here. You can see I try to go for kind of a foot sweep here, but my posture is completely backwards. I didn't commit to this Sasai, and that kind of cost me Austin coming in here, grabbing a single leg and working from there. So when you're stepping with the Sasai, what you really want to be doing is committing. I want to step my left hip into this pocket here and use my upper body here to pull this side down, pull this arm here like a steering wheel motion. But I didn't do that. I was kind of just testing to see what he was going to do with that foot. And Austin is a bit bigger than me. So when he saw that exposed leg and all my weight on this back leg, he immediately went for that single leg, and it's going to spell disaster for me for the next couple of seconds. So right here, he's able to get me down on the ground, and I immediately have to start playing defense, start playing a guard position. So Austin is going to immediately start hitting toreando passes and using that weight advantage to his benefit. So I do a good job of trying to recover the guard here, right here. I try to do this Lachlan Giles guard retention. I've been watching his video that I got, and Submeta, shout out to Submeta, and this guard retention. So Austin is going purely for this toreando pass, and I, to basically get my guard back in front of him, need to bring this leg over and to the far hip right here, as you can see. What that's going to allow me to do is push off of his belt area, his midsection here, and bring this leg back inside to basically square up my guard and recover the guard. So you can see when Austin tries to collapse the space, I'm able to get back in front of him, but I'm playing complete defense here. You can see how he's leg dragging and really putting a lot of downward pressure on me, and I have to keep framing with my hands, and that's going to kind of tire me out and spell disaster. Excuse me. So right here, I solidify what his onslaught right here, and I get into a half guard position, and you can see like his leg is complete. Well, you can't really see his leg, but his leg is straight in my half guard here, and he's posting on this hand. So what I'm going to do is to try to solidify, this onslaught of what he was doing. I'm just going to try to roll to this side and come up on top, and from there start to see if I can get a pass, or I can do something a little bit more dynamic than just defending from his leg drags and toreandos. So I'm able to come up here on a single leg, but Austin is putting pressure down on my back here, and you can see I'm not driving up. My head is out of position here. It's not where it should be, right here on the chest. So this single leg that I'm trying to do is going to be super weak, and I immediately try to get behind him, but I'm not able to do so. I pull guard again, try to pick up a single, and Austin is going to say, no, get out of here. So Austin's going to throw the belt off. We're going to slap bump and continue here. So immediately Austin's going to pick up that sweep single. Sweep single is actually something that I really like to do to people. So you can see here, what he's doing is he's pulling my collar down on the far side and swinging around to pick up my right leg. It does it pretty beautiful here. So after he starts picking that up, he's going to turn from a single to a double and immediately put me on my back here. He did it kind of nicely, so I appreciate that. It wasn't a slam. So Austin is now going to start getting up And what that is going to allow me to do is start playing K guard. I realize that this leg, I'm set up pretty nicely for the K guard. If you can see here, my leg is here. This other leg is here, kind of monitoring, and I'm trying to get my hands together here to start pulling his knee onto my chest here so I can start spinning around to the back, getting into matrix positions, all that jazz, which is something that I like to do. I like playing K guard quite a bit. So right here, you can see I spin up on my shoulder, but what I'm doing is kind of making a mistake here. I'm leaving this leg exposed instead of trying to hide it. When what I want to do is really pull him down onto this part of my body and then roll this way so I can start setting up leg drags and other things that you can do from dynamic K guard entries. So Austin is going to immediately start attacking my foot, and I realize I need to spin under and protect my foot. So I get into like this reverse X position here, and then I turn it into a 50-50 position, which I know that if I start coming up, I can score the 2 points, but Austin's doing a good job of grabbing my collar, and then he comes back up, which doesn't allow me to get the 2 points, which I desperately need because he's been killing it on the point game. If you've been keeping track, he's definitely up on points in this whole exchange that we've been doing. So I start playing a lapel position and I make a huge mistake there. Something that I talk about a lot in the videos that I do is that 4 points of connection. So right here, I've got the lapel. My leg is fed on the inside. That's 2. I've got 3 right here, but this leg is not doing anything. So I've got 3 points of connection, which is good, but it's not great, especially for someone who's heavier and he moves like featherweights and light featherweights, even though he's in a heavier weight class. So what he does is, as I try to make that connection, now I've got 3 points of connection still as well. I've got the one hand here. This one is touching and this one is kind of floating. So 3 points of connection, but he's going to backstep his left leg. And when he does that, it's going to open up my mistake. So right here, I have no points of connection, and Austin just kind of blitzes past my guard and gets me into a side control position here. So in side control, I don't usually panic too much. I need to know when to go for my opening. I don't want to expend a lot of energy here and become too tired. So Austin, as he's trying to solidify the position, I'm going to use the fact that I'm a smaller person here to kind of get under and make some space. So as he starts attacking my arm, I'm going to turn in to protect that arm, and that's going to open up the turtle position. So I actually play a lot of turtle from back in my blue belt days. I was a huge fan of Eduardo Tellez, still am, and I learned to play kind of a dynamic turtle, but in doing so, I always used to get my back taken, so I developed really good back defense. This is something that I want to highlight here for the back. When you're getting your back taken, the best thing to do is to not panic. You can see that Austin is pulling this lapel across, trying to set up some choking positions here. I did kind of a good job of sitting onto this hook. He doesn't have hooks in, so I'm not too terribly worried about my back getting fully taken, but Austin is threatening a choke here. So I need to be mindful of that as I try to escape this position. So when Austin brings his leg up, I use my leg to kind of shelf his. You can see right here, I'm shelving his leg onto my leg. And what I'm going to try to do with that is make sure that he can't get that hook and spin inside the back take. So right here, I shelved the leg onto my leg, but that allows Austin, you can see my face here, this was not pretty. That allows Austin to get a deeper choke on the collar. So what I'm trying to do is alleviate some of the pressure by pushing on this lapel and opening up this windpipe or the carotid that he has cinched off on that side. So I immediately get 2, and you can see my face is still kind of in pain here because he's got it nice and deep. So I immediately go here. And the reason I do that is because I'm not worried. His hooks are not in. So what I want to do is like swing my body over the side here and come up on top. But first and foremost, I need to alleviate the pressure that he has on this side. So I start pushing up here to open up that space. Now I'm immediately able to spin inside of the back take and immediately get up. Now I need to make something happen here. So I immediately start crowding the space and blitzing from this position. So one of the things I like to do is when I've been down in competition in points, as soon as I come up, I don't like to let my opponent breathe and establish grips. You can see that Austin has 2 points of contact here. one right here. That was a terrible drawing of a one, and one right here. So what I want to do with that is start setting up leg drags, crowd the space, and make up for lost points and lost momentum. So I backstep and I immediately turn it into a leg drag. Leg drag is probably one of my favorite ways to pass the guard. It accentuates my speed and mobility, and that's just something that I truly like to do. So right here, I hit a leg drag, crowd the space, and as he tries to bring his legs in, I do the same type of pushing the legs to the opposite side that he did to me. So right here, we see the leg drag, and I'm trying to get my chest to come down. Austin does a great job of framing. Let me get this off the screen. So he's framing his thigh here to make sure that his leg stays up, and what he wants to do is bring that around the side here. So what I do is, as that leg starts coming over the side, I'm immediately going to just push everything to one side and then start attacking the back. So right here, immediately start attacking the back, get my hooks, get one hook in, try to bring my second hook in, but I'm also now threatening the choke with my hands. So one thing that I always tell my students, it's control hand. You can't really see, but my control hand is here. My choke hand is here. You use your control hand to protect your choke hand, because he's going to start fighting the top hand. Whatever hand is top is the hand he's going to start fighting. And you can see he takes my control hand away. And if I was savvy enough, I could pull this lapel and still finish the choke. So make sure that you're always using your control hand to hide your choke hand. That way, when they pull your control hand, which should be the top hand, away, you have the choke hand here to solidify the choke if you're able. Also, don't mind my feet here. You don't cross your feet like this in somebody's guard. I was focused up here, but I was definitely mindful of the fact that if he brings his leg over the top, there are submissions. He can do ankle lock submissions. I know how to defend those, but I wanted to keep him focused up here. So now as he tries to turn, I'm going to start fighting back to get the grips and start trying to set up a choke position. So now that Austin starts opening up here, I'm going to solidify that choke and start pulling him to that side. So what I want to do now is basically solidify the choke. I'm going to turn, as he turns belly down, I'm going to turn with him, pull on that arm, and get the tap here for the submission. But you can see he was dominating the entire time, but as soon as I had an opening, that's when I kind of realized I needed to go and make something happen. So we're going to reset once again, and Austin is going to grab the grips and immediately start setting up his takedowns. So I'm sorry, he's not going to set up a takedown. I'm exhausted here, so I'm going to pull guard, I do believe. Yeah, I try to go for a foot sweep right here. I pull guard, or I try to pull into a single leg. I'm sorry, a collar drag. What am I talking about? A collar drag. But Austin stuffs that and immediately tries to go for a flying armbar there. But you can see I am doing the same thing here. This is a much better way to play guard. I've got 1 point of connection here, 1 point of connection here, foot in the hip, and this foot is kind of monitoring this forearm. This is a much better way to play guard, than an open guard, than what I was doing before. So Austin is going to start stuffing my far leg here and immediately start setting into a pass from the knees. So when I start to sit up, I want to get my foot free, but he's doing a really good job of controlling that pant leg. And immediately he's going to start hitting that toreando pass. And that's actually going to be the end of the roll, because the rest of the footage is gone. I don't remember what exactly happened, but I believe that Austin ended up passing and then submitting me from the side control or the mount. I know that we had one submission apiece, but I apologize. That's actually going to be the end of the video. I will try to make sure that doesn't happen again, but that's going to be the end.